expecting you to roll out in December, but we're in March. What was the reason for the delay?
Effectively, we had a few challenges. I think you remember at the time of last year when the fuel subsidies were being lifted, there were some of the general strikes which had an impact on the port and our ability to clear some of the goods and items through. So there was a bit of a delay in the supply chain. And then what we typically do, if we can't open before Christmas, because we now know that we're going into a new season, spring, summer coming, we wanted to make sure we got the right merchandise in. So we took a decision to delay the opening for 2 to 3 months, just so that we could have the right products, as you see in the store today, available for our customers in Nigeria.
What is Woolworth's strategy in terms of pricing? You know, with the subsidy removals, inflation is on the rise and spending power is down.
I think our strategy around pricing is always to make sure that we're providing our customers with very good value. So within Woolworths, we have what we call price tiering. So within every range, be it women's wear, women's casual, children's wear, we have a range of what we call items at good price points, and they normally are very, very reasonable in terms of the market. And then we go up through the price tiers to better to best. So if you take a good example of a men's formal shirt, you know, you can get a very basic polycotton shirt at an extremely good price. But a lot of customers like pure cotton, so obviously we provide that to the customers as well. We try and get the prices as competitive as possible, so we think in Nigeria we've absolutely done that. We did a comparative shop yesterday in the rest of the shops within the mall, and I think our pricing is very good, but ultimately the customers in Nigeria will tell us, and we always respond to that type of feedback.
With Nigeria's local content laws being enforced now, what is your employment strategy?
I think, look, Woolworths as a company, we actually in 2008, 2010 were announced as the International Responsible Retailer of the Year at the World Retail Congress in London and Berlin. So effectively we're a great supporter of local economies. So we try and build industries and supply bases. So we're trying to select suppliers who can do our shop fitting for us, and that's quite a lot of work. All the woodwork and the carpentry you see in the store, a lot of this is actually locally sourced. The vast majority of our employees, we've employed 70 people so far in Lagos for the 2 stores we've opened, are all local Nigerians. And we're just trying to bring in some people to begin with initially, to get an understanding of the brand, to build the retail experience. But you know, this is a Nigerian company. It's a joint venture between Woolworths and Chillerams. And as we grow, we want to help grow the Nigerian economy and employment. And we're an aspirational brand, and I think that's very important to remember. So I'm not ashamed to say that we pay our employees an aspirational wage. So we certainly pay higher than the majority of the other retailers.
I'm curious about regional expansion. Is Woolworths planning to open up its stores to other West African countries?
Yeah. Well, in fact, you know, we actually trade in about 13 African countries. So we've got 60 stores outside of South Africa. In 13 African countries. So we trade everywhere in the Common Customs area, which to us is Botswana, Lesotho, Namibia, Swaziland, through to Mozambique, Zambia, and then a lot of countries in East and West Africa. So we actually have a store in Accra in Ghana already. But we see Nigeria as one of the biggest potential growth opportunities. So we're very excited about the fact there's a lot of shopping centres opening in Nigeria in the various states, and everywhere a shopping centre is going up, hopefully you'll see a Woolworths there.
As a foreigner opening a business in Nigeria, I'm sure you've heard that the World Bank doing business ranking of the country remains low. Now, what are your thoughts on opening a business in Nigeria?
It's interesting because everyone asks me that question, and I think when people are asking me the question, they're almost expecting there to have been challenges and problems. The reality is we have found establishing business in Nigeria relatively easy. We've got a very, very good partner in Chillerams PLC. Who's been able to help us through various issues such as supply chain, understanding where to recruit, where to get the best people from. So effectively, it's no more challenging opening up in Nigeria than it is in any of the other countries outside of South Africa, to be fair. So we would have liked to have gone quicker, but we're here now, and I think we'll be rolling out and expanding quite quickly.
A major topic is how hard it is for foreign companies coming into Nigeria to access financing. Now, have you experienced any difficulties in this area?
Effectively, you know, we're making actually quite a big investment. So each of our stores that we actually open up costs about $1.5 million US. So from a funding perspective, we're in the partnership with Chillerams. We believe mainly in having equity and shareholder loans. And we've gone and approached one of the banks to get some external funding as well. But effectively, retail is a very cash generative business, so funding doesn't tend to be much of a challenge for us.
Where do you see the retail industry in Nigeria going?
I think the retail industry in Nigeria is very exciting. So I think at the moment there's a lot of informal trading. I visited some of those areas yesterday. Lots of energy, lots of bustle, very, very good. But there is this investment in shopping centres that's coming. And I think more as you get a middle class emerging, they start looking for a different shopping experience. So they want to go to one shopping centre where they've got all the retailers represented, all the fashion, all the food. They like the customer shopping experience. So it's air conditioned, they like to be able to walk around, browse in a pleasant environment, sit at the food court and have lunch. So I think the retail industry in Nigeria is maturing. It's maturing very, very fast. And I think effectively it's consolidating. So I see over time being less informal trading and a lot more sophisticated shopping malls going on.